At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to differentiate active from passive voice, explain the sentence structures of active and passive voices, and write sentences using active and passive voices in 12 verb tenses. How is active voice different from passive voice? Active voice is when the subject of the sentence performs the action, while passive voice is when the subject of the sentence receives the action. For active voice, take note on the words subject, performs, and action. For passive voice, take note on the words subject, receives, and action. Let's have an example of an active voice in a simple present tense of the verb. The students write their informative essays. In this example, we have the students as our subject, or the one performs the action, which is write. Okay, write is our verb or action here. And informative essays is our direct object, or the one receives the action of the verb, or the one receives the action, which is write. And direct object also answers the question, what do the students write? And the answer is, the students write their informative essays. As you can see in this example, our subject, which is the students, is the one performing the action, which is writing an informative essays. And in this example, we use the structure subject plus base form of the verb and direct object. To change this active voice into passive voice, the subject and the direct object need to exchange places. For passive voice, it becomes the informative essays are written by the students. So in this example, we have the new subject, which is the informative essays. And the role of the new subject this time is no longer the doer of the action or the one performing the action, but receives the action. And are written, which is a new verb structure from write earlier, now it becomes are written. Linking verb are plus the past participle form of the verb written, and by the students. As you can see, the doer of the action in the passive voice is written at the end of the sentence. Earlier, the doer of the action was written at the beginning of the sentence, and here in the passive voice, the doer of the action is written at the end. So as I said earlier, the subject and the direct object, they just need to exchange their places from active to passive. And the verb structure also changes. So in this example, we use the structure subject, which is the informative essays, plus is or are, depending on your subject. We will use is if the subject is singular, and we will use the linking verb are if the subject is plural. So in this case, informative essays, it's plural, so we're using the linking verb are, plus the past participle form of the verb. So written is the past participle form of the verb write, and doer of the action, which is by the students. Please take note that when you write a sentence in a passive voice, it's not always necessary to indicate who does the action. In this example, we can also say the informative essays are written. So if you don't need your writers to know who did the action, then you don't have to include or write by the students. So it depends on, it's a case-to-case basis. If it's relevant, if it's important that your readers need to know who did or who does the action, then you should indicate the doer of the action in your passive voice. Otherwise, you can just say in this example, the informative essays are written, period. Let's have another example of an active voice using the present continuous or progressive tense of the verb. The teacher is presenting a new lesson. In this example, we have the teacher as our subject, or the one performs the action, which is presenting or is presenting. That's our verb or action here. And a new lesson is our direct object, or the one receives of the action. It answers the questions, what does the teacher, or what is the teacher presenting? The teacher is presenting a new lesson. So as you can see in this example, we have our subject, the teacher is the one performing the action, which is presenting a new lesson. And in this example, we use the structure subject plus linking verb am, is, or are, depending on your subject. If you use the subject I, so it needs to be paired with am. If the subject is singular, is, and then if the subject is plural, pair it with the linking verb are. So in this case, the teacher is singular, so we're using the verb is. And then the present participle form of the verb, which is presenting. When I say present participle, it's the ing form of the verb plus the direct object. To change this active voice into passive, as I mentioned earlier, the subject and the direct object just need to exchange their places. So for passive voice, this becomes a new lesson is being presented by the teacher. So in this example, we have a new lesson as our new subject, and the role of the new subject is no longer the doer of the action, unlike earlier, but this time around, our new subject, the role of our new subject is only to receive the action, which is being presented. And we also have a new verb structure here. From is presenting earlier, it becomes is being presented. So linking verb is plus the word being and the past participle form of the verb present, which is presented. And the doer of the action here, the teacher. So as you can see right now, the doer of the action here in passive voice is written at the end of the sentence. Earlier in active voice, it was written at the beginning of the sentence. So they exchanged, or the subject and the direct object exchanged their places. And there is a new verb structure. In this example, we use the structure subject plus am or is or are, depending on your subject, plus the word being, plus the past participle form of the verb. Presented is the past participle form of the verb present, plus the doer of the action, which is by the teacher. Let's have another example of an active voice using the present perfect tense of the verb. He has taken the summative test. In this example, we have the subject he, or the one performs or performing the action, or the doer of the action, which is has taken. So that's our verb or action. And summative test is the one receives the action or direct object. It answers the question, what has he taken? And the answer is, he has taken the summative test. So you can see in this example, we have the subject he that performs the action has taken the summative test. And we use the structure subject plus has or have. It depends on your subject. We use has if the subject is singular, like he, and we use have, the auxiliary verb have, if the subject is plural, plus the past participle form of the verb taken. Taken is the past participle form of the verb take, and our direct object, which is a summative test. To change this active voice into passive voice, the subject and the direct object will exchange their places. So per passive voice, this will become the summative test has been taken by him. So in this example, we have the new subject summative test, and its role also changes. Our new subject now is not the one performing the action, but only receives the action, which is has been taken. And we also have a new verb structure here from has taken to has been taken, and the doer of the action by him. In this example, we use the structure subject plus has or have, depending on your subject, plus the word been, plus the past participle form of the verb, which is taken. It's the past participle form of the verb take, and the doer of the action by him. Let's have another example of an active voice using the present perfect, continuous, or progressive tense. Jay has been finalizing the project 4 weeks now. In this example, we have Jay as our subject, or the one performs the action, which is has been finalizing. So that's our verb or action here. And the project is our direct object, or the one receives the action. So as you can see in this example, we have our subject J performs an action, has been finalizing the project. And then this example uses the structure subject plus has or have, depending on your subject, the word been, and the present participle form of the verb, which is finalizing, or the ing form of the verb, and the direct object. To change this active voice into passive voice, the subject and the direct object need to exchange their places. So this will become 4 weeks now, the project has been finalized by Jay. Or you can also put 4 weeks now at the end. So you can say the project has been finalized by Jay 4 weeks now. In this example, we have our new subject, which is the project. It is the one receives the action, which is has been finalized. As you can see, there's also a new verb structure here, from has been finalizing in active voice earlier to has been finalized. Then the doer of the action by J. And this example uses the structure subject plus has or have, depending on your subject, whether it's singular or plural, the word been plus past participle form of the verb finalized with D at the end, and then the doer of the action by J. Let's have another example of an active voice using the simple past tense. Graver finished the assignment yesterday. In this example, we have Graver as our subject, or the one performs the action, which is finished. Okay, that's our verb or action. And then the assignment here is the one receives the action, or our direct object. It answers the question, what did Graver finish? So the answer is Graver finished the assignment. Okay, it receives the action of the verb. And as you can see in this example, we have our subject Graver, who performs the action, finished the assignment. And then this example uses the structure subject plus the past tense of the verb, which is finished. So from finish, you just add ed, and then direct object, the assignment. And then to change this active voice to passive voice, the subject and the direct object need to exchange their places. This becomes now, yesterday, the assignment was finished by Graver. Or you can also say, the assignment was finished by Graver yesterday. So either way, whether yesterday is at the beginning or at the end of the sentence, it doesn't matter. So in this example, we have a new subject, which is the assignment, which role is the one receiving the action, which is was finished. And as you can see, there's a new verb structure here, from finished to was finished. And then by Graver, the doer of the action here. This example uses the structure subject plus was. If the subject is singular, use was, and then if the subject is plural, use were. And then the past participle form of the verb, which is finished, and then the doer of the action by Graver. Another example of an active voice using the past, continuous or progressive. William was finishing the homework when the teacher arrived. In this example, we have William as our subject, who performs the action was finishing, or our verb or action here. And then the homework is the receiver of the action or the direct object. It answers the question, what was William finishing when the teacher arrived? And the answer is William was finishing the homework. In this example, as you can see, we have the subject William, who performs the action was finishing or was finishing the homework. And then this example uses the structure subject plus was or were, depending on your subject, and the present participle form of the verb or the ing form of the verb. In this example, we have the word finishing or the verb finishing, and then the direct object, the homework. To change this active voice into passive voice, the subject and the direct object will exchange their places, or this becomes when the teacher arrived, the homework was being finished by William. Or you can also write the dependent clause when the teacher arrived at the end of the sentence. So you can say, the homework was being finished by William when the teacher arrived. It doesn't matter where you're going to put your dependent clause here. In this example, we have the new subject, which is the homework, which role is just to receive the action, which is was being finished. And it is also a new structure from was finishing to was being finished. And then the doer of the action by William. This example uses the structure subject plus was or were, depending on your subject, whether it's singular or plural, the word being plus the past participle form of the verb finished, and then the doer of the action. Another example of an active voice using the past perfect tense. John had cleaned the entire house before his mother arrived from work. In this example, we have John as our subject, who performs the action had cleaned, or our verb or action here, and then the entire house, which is our direct object, or the one receives the action. Or it answers the question, what had John cleaned before his mother arrived from work? In this example, you can also say, before his mother arrived from work, John had cleaned the entire house. So it doesn't matter where you're going to write your dependent clause before his mother arrived from work. This example uses the structure subject plus had plus the past participle form of the verb, which is cleaned with ed, and then the direct object, the entire house. To change this into passive voice, again and again, our subject and the direct object just need to exchange their places. So this becomes, the entire house had been cleaned by John before his mother arrived from work. So in this example, we have the new subject, which is the entire house, which role is only to receive the action, had been cleaned. And there's a new verb structure here, from had cleaned to had been cleaned. And then the doer of the action here, by John. This example uses the structure subject plus had plus the word been plus the past participle form of the verb, which is cleaned with ed, and the doer of the action by John. Another example of an active voice using the past perfect, continuous, or progressive tense. Gretchen had been studying the lessons before she took the test. In this example, we have Gretchen as our subject, who performs the action had been studying. And then we have here the lessons as our direct object, or the one receives the action. Or it answers the question, what had Gretchen been studying? And the answer is, Gretchen had been studying the lessons before she took the test. As you can see in this example, we have the subject Gretchen, who performs the action, which is had been studying the lessons. This example uses the structure subject plus had plus the word been plus the present participle form of the verb, or the ing form of the verb, which is studying. and then the direct object, the lessons. To change this active voice to passive voice, the subject and the direct object need to exchange their places. So this becomes, the lesson had been studied by Gretchen before she took the test. In this example, we have a new subject, which is the lesson, which role is only to receive the action, which is had been studied. And as you can see, it's a new verb structure from had been studying to had been studied. And the doer of the action here by Gretchen. Or you can also say, before she took the test, the lesson had been studied by Gretchen. So it doesn't matter if you're going to write your dependent clause at the beginning or at the end of your sentence. Another example here of an active voice using the simple future tense of the verb. They will attend your graduation next week. In this example, we have the subject they, who performs the action will attend. Okay, that's our verb or action here. And then your graduation is our direct object, or the one receiving or receives the action. Or it answers the question, what will they attend next week? And the answer is, they will attend your graduation next week. As you can see in this example, the subject they performs the action will attend your graduation. And this example uses the structure subject plus will or shall. Those are two modal verbs we may use for simple future tense, plus the base form of the verb attend, plus the direct object your graduation. To change this into passive voice, the subject and the direct object will exchange their places. So this becomes, your graduation will be attended by them next week. In this example, we have a new subject, which is your graduation, which role is only to receive the action, which is will be attended. And it's a new verb structure as well, because from will attend, it becomes will be attended. And then the doer of the action by them. This example uses the structure subject plus will or shall plus the word be plus the past participle form of the verb attended, and then the doer of the action by them. Another example of an active voice using the future continuous or progressive tense. At 7 o'clock, the coach will be meeting with the players. In this example, we have the coach as our subject, who performs the action will be meeting, or our verb or action here, with the players, which is our direct object, or the one receives the action. It also answers the question who or whom. As you can see in this example, the subject, which is the coach, performs the action will be meeting with the players. This example uses the structure subject plus will or shall plus the word be plus the present participle form of the verb, which is meeting, and the direct object or the receiver of the action with the players. To change this active voice to passive voice, our subject and the direct object will exchange their places. So this becomes, at 7 o'clock, the players will be met by the coach. In this example, we have our new subject, which is the players, which role is only to receive the action, which is will be met. And this is also a new verb structure, from will be meeting to will be met. And then the doer of the action here by the coach. This example uses the structure subject plus will or shall plus be plus the past participle form of the verb, which is met, and then the doer of the action by the coach. Another example here of an active voice using the future perfect tense. At 9 o'clock, the manager will have presented the project proposal. In this example, we have the manager is our subject who performs the action will have presented. Okay, this is our verb or action here. And then the project proposal is our direct object or the one receives the action. Or it answers the question, what will the manager have presented at 9 o'clock? And the answer is at 9 o'clock the manager will have presented the project proposal. This example uses the structure subject plus will or shall plus have plus the past participle form of the verb which is presented and the direct object which is the project proposal. To change this into passive voice, again, the subject and the direct object will exchange their places. So this becomes at 9 o'clock, the project proposal will have been presented by the manager. In this example, we have a new subject which is the project proposal, which role is only to receive the action, which is will have been presented. And as you can see, this is a new verb structure. From will have presented to will have been presented. There's a change of the verb structure. And then by the manager, which is the doer or who is the doer of the action. This example uses the structure subject plus will or shall plus have, the auxiliary verb have, plus been, plus the past participle form of the verb presented, and then the doer of the action by the manager. Another example of an active voice using the future perfect, continuous, or progressive. The kids will have been eating the snacks by the time their teacher arrives. In this example, we have the kids as our subject who performs the action will have been eating. Okay, that's our verb or action here. And then the snacks, which is our direct object or the one receives the action. So you can see in this example, we have the subject, the kids, who performs the action will have been eating the snacks by the time their teacher arrives. Or you can also say, by the time their teacher arrives, the kids will have been eating the snacks. So as I said earlier, it does not matter whether you're going to write your dependent clause at the beginning or at the end of the sentence. This example uses the structure subject plus will or shall plus the auxiliary verb have plus been plus the present participle form of the verb which is eating and then the direct object, the snacks. To change this into passive voice, our subject and the direct object will again exchange their places. So this becomes the snacks will have been eaten by the kids by the time their teacher arrives. In this example, we have a new subject which is the snacks, which role is only to receive the action, which is will have been eaten. And this is a new verb structure. From will have been eating to will have been eaten by the kids, which is our doer of the action or the one performing the action. Or you can also say, by the time their teacher arrives, the snacks will have been eaten by the kids. This example uses the structure subject plus will or shall plus the auxiliary verb have plus been plus the past participle form of the verb eaten and then the doer of the action by the kids.
To change your